All right, so what if I told you that your tongue is arguably your most important sex organ? But besides that, it's so important in so many other ways. It guides your digestive process, it sends neurological signals to your brain, and you can actually use your tongue to increase the stiffness down there. And if you're a lady, you can actually use it to improve moisture down there and stiffness, because there's actually a clitoral erection just like there is a penile erection. So now if you're like most people, you're kind of sitting there thinking, how can you compare and say that the tongue is way more important? Well, I'm about to explain that to you. But if you're also one of those people that really spends a lot of time thinking about yourself, about what turns you on sexually and what doesn't, then you have obviously spent some time wondering, well, let's see, why does this person get me hot, this one doesn't? Why does this thing get me hot, this thing doesn't? Well, what if I told you that you could actually use your tongue during foreplay, or even when things are like in full swing, to immediately increase the strength and size? And ladies can actually increase their moisture and engorgement as well. So I'm about to show you how and why and what motion you can actually do to make this happen. So men and women are more similar than it seems kind of on the surface. Now the clitoris and penis, they both have erectile tissue that course through them, and when either one of them is turned on, blood flow needs to surge through the tissue in order for there to be either a penile woody or a clitoral woody. Yes, everybody has woodies. So as the sexual response cycle starts to evolve and either party is turned on more and more, the surge should increase, and the tissue for women, actually moisture develops too. And in order for this to happen, there's actually two different autonomic nervous systems. So I think automatic nervous systems that exist. And that's the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. So when it comes to these two nervous systems, the parasympathetic nervous system is the one that controls being turned on. It's the one that gets turned on when you're excited, engorged, whereas the sympathetic nervous system is fight or flight. You can't be in fight or flight and turned on at the same time, not usually. So if your parasympathetic nervous system is turned on during passion play, then you want that to be in overdrive, so to speak, because what you want is to switch off the sympathetic nervous system temporarily a little bit and turn up and turn on the parasympathetic nervous system. And I'm going to show you how the tongue can actually do that. And in order to do this, I want you to kind of understand this thing called a cranial nerve. So your vagus nerve is a cranial nerve, and it's actually one of the 12 cranial nerves that sit in our cranium, and these things come in pairs. So there's two of each of them, and they connect your brain to other body parts. Now, some cranial nerves deal with like the senses, and sensory function. So they deal with they send information to your brain about the sights, about smells, sounds, taste. And then there's other cranial nerves that have more motor or action functions. So they control some more of the muscle movements and the way certain glands function. And then there are other cranial nerves that do both. And today we're focusing on the vagus nerve, and it's actually responsible for modulating both sensory and motor functions. Now this is the 10th cranial nerve. So think about it like this. When you go to Vegas, you're relaxed, having an amazing time, right? You're almost paralyzed in pleasure. And it's stress-free there. So I want you to think the vagus nerve is stress-free. So the vagus nerve is one of the primary parasympathetic cranial nerves, and it drives a bunch of things. It carries signals and messages from the brain to the heart, to the lungs, to the digestive system, to the blood vessels, and to the genitals. telling them all to kind of relax, chill out, and kind of do your thing. So in order to put your parasympathetic nervous system into hyperdrive and to send a gush of engorgement to the erectile tissues and facilitate a flood of moisture to the vaginal tissue, I'm going to show you this one thing that you can and should do with your tongue in these moments to kick the parasympathetic nervous system into overdrive and to kick your body into overdrive. So before I do that, let's look at the anatomy so you can understand this a bit. Now within your mouth, you have a hard and a soft palate, right? At the top. The soft palate is located right beneath your brain, and on top of it sits the vagus nerve. It actually sits right above that soft part in your mouth. Go ahead and touch it right now. Put your tongue up there. Notice how it's hard up front and it's soft in the back. This is ultimately why your tongue is so important, because right above that soft area at the roof of your mouth is where the vagus nerve lies. So you're about to see the connection? See the connection with the tongue thing here? So the vagus nerve starts here above that soft palate, and it travels all the way from there all the way down through your body. It innervates or touches and impacts the heart, the lungs, the gut, all of that, and all the way down to the genital area. Parts of the vagus nerve are even found wrapped around the prostate. Yeah, where they become the cavernosal nerves. So in here, they are responsible for getting an erection. And either the penile erection in men or a clitoral erection in women. Of course, women don't have a prostate, but they have cavernosal nerves. So we want to stimulate the vagus nerve that starts in the cranium and behind the soft palate of our mouth and finds our way all the way down to the genitals and controls engorgement. It controls being turned on down, right? So when you want things to flow, I want you to do this. I want you to hold the entire surface of your tongue to the roof of your mouth and suction the tongue up and right to the back of the throat. Now, you may be resting your tongue right now on the hard part. Not the hard part, the soft part. Put it all the way up there. Put it to the back of your throat and hold it right there and breathe in through your nasal passages. You'll immediately notice that you feel relaxed. Breathe through your nose, because remember we talked about how important nasal breathing is in this whole process of engorgement. And actually, the tongue position is so important that it influences your whole body. Because remember, the vagus nerve seems to control all of the important parts of your body, right? So this tongue position thing may actually be why, getting a bad taste can actually throw off your whole thing when you're in the throes of passion, or really kind of anywhere. It throws off your whole mood. But if the tongue is positioned against the hard palate, guess what? It turns on the sympathetic nervous system. It turns on the fight or flight system. And it turns off the parasympathetic nervous system. But when you put it into the back, all the way up to that soft palate, and inhale, you are actually turning off the fight or flight and turning on the vagus, parasympathetic, stress-free type of feeling. And so what it does is it can lower your heart rate, make you breathe slower and more rhythmically, and it increases engorgement. But remember, if it's positioned at the top up here, you'll notice you're tensed up. So if you want to immediately relax in any situation, the best thing to do is to reposition that tongue to the back, to the soft palate, and bam. You can do this when road rage hits, or you can do this when you want to hit, all right? So keeping in mind the position of the tongue is most important. And keep in mind that when it comes down to it, the parasympathetic nervous system is what you want to be in hyperdrive. So the position of the tongue, so you can actually use this in a variety of different ways, right? So if you're in the throes of passion, you want to breathe through your nose. You want to have the tongue in the roof of your mouth, back by the soft palate. Position it there when you want to relax and enjoy yourself. Now, the vagus nerve is being stimulated when you do that. And you put it on the hard palate if something else is going on and you need to knock somebody out. Now, I'm not condoning violence before you put all this hate down below. But another way to do it is actually to kind of lift the soft palate by initiating a yawn and triggering a fake yawn. That'll do it. Now, this move that I just showed you is your friend. So if you're nervous about anything, you're stressed out about anything, you feel yourself really tense, this can help you relax and put you in that parasympathetic stress-free space. Now, you can use your tongue in so many cool ways. So you want your partner to want you a little bit more? Tongue on soft. If you want to want your partner a little bit more, you want to want them more, tongue on soft palate. If you want your partner to want you a little more, put your genitals on their soft palate, all right? I'm Dr. Rachel, and this is what we do. We talk about all natural ways to optimize. And so like this channel. Hey, so I'm Dr. Rachel, and this is what we do. We focus on all natural ways to help you optimize. So go ahead and like this video. Share this video with anyone that you think should use it, and pay attention for the rest of the day. Is your tongue on your hard palate or your soft palate? And are you hard or are you soft as a result of that? All right? See you later.